This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not advocate for or encourage illegal activity.
Talk about violence, shall we? Now, under the pretext of neoliberal society, the idea of violence is something often looked down upon. It is often something that is seen as irresponsible, barbaric, and even something that should be avoided at all cost. Despite the fact that neoliberalism, down to its core, is a death cult. It perpetrates itself and continues to extrapolate itself upon death. We can see this very clearly in the way that it enacts and contains and continues to uphold so-called peace and justice through police brutality. State-sanctioned violence is always okay whenever it comes to these people. Whenever it comes to the ideas of using violence and a large amount of it to keep their way of life in place, it can and will be used. It is not an if, it is a when. This does not matter whether you are a conservative, a Republican, alt-right, or Democrat, or liberal. All of those that are to the left of a social democrat will willingly use violence to continue to contain their foothold of capital. Now, what is the solution to this, I wonder? What is the solution to violence? Well, a measured response of using your own. If something is coming at you and you are backed into a corner, what are you more likely to do? Plead, beg, attempt to run whenever your very livelihood is threatened. What is it we do? I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious here, right? It has to be. It's a very, very simple idea. We have the Second Amendment. We have the right to militia. We have the right to bear arms. We have the right to protect ourselves. There are those laws in certain places that allow us to hold and stand our ground. There are plenty of states out there that willingly and without much difficulty allow you to carry something that contains an immense amount of political power. So, I mean, personally, what I would say is if you have the funds and the ability, exercise your Second Amendment right. Right? If something is going to come at you with violence unheard of, will you just sit around and take it? Will you allow the fascists, the people who are already forming their own militias, already have their own militias, already have their game plans all set in stone, have their things all situated out and organized into weekly and monthly meetings, bi-weekly, and have all these group chats and everything along those lines? How are you to respond to such organization? Spontaneity can only go so far. Spontaneity can only work in our favor for so long. But if we really, really want to make a change, we need to force things to change.